Hello, I'm Dr. Pradeep Gujar. I'm a pediatrician. I'm supposed to take a lecture on anemia. Anemia is very common. It is nearly 1/7 of the world population. That is about 1 billion population is suffering from anemia. But as the symptoms are not severe, so no one is get attracted towards the case of anemia unless there are very severe symptoms like loss of appetite, irritability, lassitude, or some fatigueness, and so on. What is anemia then? Anemia is nothing but there is a decreased number of RBCs. The number of RBCs are reduced. That is anemia, very simple. Because blood basically its basic components are two: liquid components and solid components. Liquid components, it is nothing but the plasma, and the solid components is the cells, RBC, WBC, and platelets. This RBC component, which is the solid component, that is reduced, and that results into a case of anemia. Then what could be the actual definition of anemia? When the hemoglobin concentration is reduced to third standard deviation of the mean, or very simple, the hemoglobin percentage is reduced, that is what is expected for that age and sex. For example, in case of male, if it is less than 13 gram percent, then it is anemia. Or in case of a non-pregnant woman, if the hemoglobin percentage is less than 12, that is anemia. Then what causes the anemia? Could be only three possible situations: when there is an increased destruction of the RBCs, or there is the reduced production of the RBCs, or there is a loss of the RBCs. For example, say production is reduced. For the production, iron is necessary. If iron is deficient, then production will be hampered, and the case will be iron deficiency anemia. So also for the production, again folic acid and B12 is necessary. If that is deficient, then the patient will have a megaloblastic anemia. Let us see destruction. There are certain situations where there is a destruction of the RBCs. The destruction may be because of some abnormal hemoglobin, what we say as hemoglobinopathies, which is very common in our area, is sickle cell disease or thalassemia. Or there are some conditions where the enzymes they are deficient, or the shape of the RBCs is abnormal, like spherocytosis, elliptocytosis. Or there are certain drugs which can cause direct destruction, as that could be the case in case of G6PD deficiency. When some particular drug is given, like Lasix, if it is given, there is a destruction of the RBCs, and ultimately the patient may have a situation of anemia. Third situation could be there is a loss of the blood. If there is a severe loss of blood in very short time, then definitely the patient needs blood transfusion. That is very different situation. But if there is a gradual chronic loss of the blood, gradually, as it occurs in case of children because of some infection like worm infestation, hookworm infestation, then patient has gradual loss of blood, and ultimately the situation of the anemia that appears. There could be other situations like in case of female, dysfunctional uterine bleeding, menorrhagia, metrorrhagia, or sometimes a patient is suffering from hemorrhoids, or patient is suffering from piles, and there are so many other situations when there is a loss of blood, which ultimately causes gradually a condition of anemia. Okay. Now let us continue further. Anemia, when the number of RBCs they are reduced, it's anemia. But reverse the case. If the number of RBCs is increased, then what is that condition? That is the polycythemia, right? Now let us see how the actual blood is formed. The formation of the blood, I just told you that it is of two main components, liquid component and the solid component. And for that formation of blood, what is required? This is required. It requires protein, it requires iron, it requires so many vitamins, like it requires vitamin B12 for the maturation, it requires folic acid. Folic acid is also known as B9 for the maturation. Vitamin C, lot of role of vitamin C. I will tell you later on what is the role. Vitamin E, riboflavin, and the trace element like copper. All this is required for the formation of the blood, right? To understand anemia, it is mandatory to understand the functions of the RBCs. RBCs function, three important functions. First, oxygen transport, expulsion of the carbon dioxide, and it also acts as a buffer. I mean, it maintains the pH of the blood. Let us see. Oxygen transportation, you know, it is transported through the hemoglobin, that everybody knows. But to understand expulsion of the CO2, and it also acts as a buffer or maintains the pH. How? Let us see this relation. In the RBCs, there is a lot many of carbonic anhydrase enzyme. That is very important role of RBC in this reaction. See, just you consider this is the RBC. In RBC, a chemical reaction is taking place. This glucose is oxidized and converts ultimately into carbon dioxide and water. Carbon dioxide and water, this ultimately converts into carbonic acid in the presence of carbonic anhydrase. Unless this carbonic anhydrase enzyme is not there, this reaction will not take place. And ultimately carbonic acid converts into hydrogen ions and bicarbonate ions by dissociation. Hydrogen ions, they are retained. Bicarbonate ions, they comes out of the RBC, and thus it maintains the pH, because bicarbonate, they are going out, and in the place of that chloride ions, they are entering into the RBC. Secondly, H ions, they are also retained. If there is some fluctuation in the pH, I mean hydrogen ions, RBC will take care of that. In this way, the RBC has a very major role as a buffer or for the maintenance of the pH of the blood. Then what's about the expulsion of the CO2? Expulsion of the CO2, just look here. Here is the CO2. But here is carbon, here is the bicarbonate ions. Means CO2 is converted into carbonic acid converts into bicarbonate ions. This bicarbonate ions, which is in the blood, ultimately is transported to the lungs. There, the conversion of bicarbonate ions into the carbon dioxide takes place, and that carbon dioxide is ultimately expelled through the lungs. To understand the anemia properly, one must know the physiology of the blood. So let us consider about the RBC. RBC is a very small, tiny disc. It is a circular disc. See, this is a RBC. The shape of the RBC is circular. In the periphery, it is thick. If it is seen from the side view, the side view indicates that the periphery is thick, and in the center it is thinnest. The size of the RBC, the maximum diameter of the RBC is 7.2 micron. Micron means micrometer. What is micrometer? 1 micrometer is the 1000th part of the millimeter. And what is nanometer? Nanometer is the 1000th part of the micrometer or micron. So this is the size, average size of the RBC. Then what are the characteristics of the RBC? RBC is nothing but it is a very tiny bag. You just imagine it is small, circular, tiny bag which contains hemoglobin. What is the importance of that? It is flexible. It needs to be flexible because it has to pass through very small micropores of the capillaries. Just imagine this is the micropore of the capillary, and say this is the micropore, and say this is the size of the RBC. This is the RBC. Just you imagine. Now this RBC want to pass through this micropore, which is not possible. But as it is flexible, it will just change its shape like this, and it will come on this side. So the flexibility is very important. Third important characteristic is it carries oxygen. That you all know that the hemoglobin carries the oxygen. What is the importance of that? 1 gram of hemoglobin carries 1.3 ml of oxygen. Say 100 ml of blood, hemoglobin percentage say 16 gram. So the 16 gram hemoglobin will carry nearly 22 ml of oxygen per 100 ml of blood in case of male. In case of female, it will be little bit less because the hemoglobin concentration is little bit less. So it is 19.4 in case of female. The fourth characteristic of the RBC count in male is little bit high. It is 5.2, and in female it is 4.7 million per cubic mm of the blood. Fifth, at the high altitude, say nearly 15,000 or 17,000 feet high, in that height or that altitude, the person who is already residing there, his habitat is there, his RBC count will not be 5.2 or 7.7 in case of female. It will be 6 to 8 million per cubic mm of the blood, because his oxygen requirement is more, and if the RBC count is less, oxygen carrying capacity will be less, but they want more oxygen, so the number of RBCs will be increased. The hemoglobin can also be expressed in the form of hematocrit. Then what is hematocrit? Let us see. If you take 100 ml of blood, say this is the test tube, 100 ml blood is taken here from this point to this. Let it settle down. So the solid part of the blood will settle down. Say this is the settled part of the blood. The maximum portion of that solid or settled part is RBC between these two fingers, and very small part which is above my finger, which contains WBC and platelet, which is otherwise we can say it is negligible as compared to the volume of the RBC. So what is hematocrit then? Hematocrit is nothing but it is the percentage contents of the RBCs. So in 100 ml of blood, there is about nearly 45 ml is the RBC. So this is the another way of expressing the hemoglobin. For example, if this, so say somewhere here, this level, it means that hematocrit is less. Ultimately, RBCs are less, means the hemoglobin is less. So hematocrit in case of male, the percentage is 40 to 56% and 36 to 46% in case of female, because the RBC count is less in case of female. So the hematocrit also less. So in case of anemia, hemoglobin can be expressed by two ways. One, gram percentage, that is 14 to 16 gram percent in case of male, 12 to 14 gram per deciliter in case of female, non-pregnant woman. And second, hematocrit, means it is in form of percentage of the RBCs in 100 ml of the blood, which ultimately the volume of the RBCs, that will give the indirect idea of the hemoglobin. Say this in high altitude people, residing there, 6 to 8 means very high RBC count. Why this is high? What happens to the body? What is going on in the body? See, if you look at this, if you just imagine the RBC count is just 5, the man who is residing at 17,000 feet high, but his oxygenation will not be fulfilled. He will be hypoxic, and once he becomes hypoxic, we will have lot many problem. Even the life will not be possible. So this hypoxic condition, say at high altitude, hypoxic condition, this tissue is hypoxic, is stimulated, and this hypoxia stimulates the kidney. In the kidney, there is a specific hormone, a hormone called as erythropoietin. Erythropoietin is stimulated and secreted, which ultimately stimulates the hemopoietic stem cell system, which ultimately stimulates, and there is a production of more and more pro-erythroblast. The pro-erythroblast ultimately converts into erythroblast or RBCs. So in this way, whenever there is a low RBC count, the physiology of the formation of the blood, what is called as erythropoiesis, that takes place. Now we will discuss about the iron deficiency anemia. If you remember first slide, causes of anemia, basically 3: decreased production, increased destruction, or there is a chronic loss. This is because of decreased production. Why? Because for the production, what is required? Iron, vitamins, proteins, and copper. Apart from this, iron is very important in the synthesis of hemoglobin, right? Hemoglobin is nothing but it is the combination of one molecule of heme and globin. Globin is protein. Protein means amino acids chains. Let us take heme. Heme is consist of protoporphyrin compound 9 and iron. Now look at this. If I remove iron, there will be no formation of heme. If remove heme, there will be no generation of hemoglobin. In other words, for the formation of hemoglobin, what is required? The prime important factor is iron. If I remove iron, I just minus iron, hemoglobin will not form. If hemoglobin will not form, the RBCs will not generate. If no RBCs, anemia, right? Then iron requirement is where? In the hemoglobin, in the myoglobin, in the enzymes, in the cytochrome. And second important, in the brain also. Let us take one by one. Hemoglobin we just discussed. Myoglobin. Myoglobin is it is a protein pigment which contains iron. It is incorporated into the muscle cells along with some oxygen. And it is nothing but the emergency use of oxygen. For example, if someone is exercising and in a state of strenuous exercise, there is an increased demand of oxygen, and that increased demand of oxygen is fulfilled by the oxygen which is released from the myoglobin. Enzymes. There are many of hundreds and thousands of enzymes. The enzymes are required for any biochemical reaction. Without enzymes, no biochemical reaction is complete, right? The important enzymes like cytochrome oxidase, peroxidase, oxidase, and many more. The basic function of these enzymes is oxidative role. For example, glucose is oxidated and ultimately carbon dioxide and water is formed. During this reaction, energy as well as heat is also formed. The energy is used for internal as well as external activities of the body, and heat which is generated during this metabolic activity That heat is used for the maintenance of the body temperature of the human beings. So enzyme is very important, and for the synthesis all these enzymes, iron may be in very small quantity, maybe in traces, but it is must, because iron, if iron is not there, if the iron is absent, the enzymes will not form. For example, take any example, say some enzyme is deficient and the baby is born with the deficient of this enzyme, particularly XYZ enzyme. The baby will have so many problems because of the absence of that enzyme, because so many reactions which were dependent on that enzymes, now these all reactions will be absent. On the contrary, there will be the accumulation of some unwanted material, because that chemical reaction is not taking place. So some unwanted material factors, they are accumulated, precipitated, may be precipitated in the lungs, in the liver, in the kidney, in the brain, anywhere. And they may cause, if it is deposited in the brain, the baby may have convulsions. In the kidney, there will be kidney failure, and so on. And such type of problem or such type of disorders which present because of the absence of formation of these enzymes in the newborn baby, which is inborn. Such group of diseases or disorder is called as inborn error of metabolism. So the synthesis of enzymes and for the synthesis, iron is very important, right? Let us take cytochromes. Cytochrome, again, it's a protein which contains iron. It is very well available and incorporated into the mitochondria, inside the mitochondria. The function of cytochromes, it has very important function. It has a transportation function. It transports hydrogen ions as well as transportation of electrons from within the cell, from one part to the another, or from cell to cell. Let us take, when we say that hemoglobin, myoglobin, enzymes, cytochromes, lot many of important ingredients are there, then definitely one may be thinking that the quantity of iron must be required, must be very large. But the story is reverse. In a man, could be the weight 65 kg or even 70 kg. If you calculate and see the total iron content of the body, it is not more than 4 gram. The total iron content of the body is not more than 4 gram. Out of that, say 65% is hemoglobin, 10% in myoglobin, very few, say only hardly 3% in enzymes and cytochromes. Rest of the iron is stored. It is stored in the form of ferritin. What is ferritin? A particular protein called as apoferritin combines with free iron, and this combination is called as ferritin. That is very well stored into the liver, mainly the hepatocytes, and even in the endoplasmic reticulus, it is also reticular endothelial system. For example, in liver, Kupffer cells, or some part is also stored in spleen or lymph nodes. Second one important is the brain. First is the synthesis of hemoglobin and all these above factors, and second is the brain. In the brain, most of us, whenever there is a story of iron, what first comes in your mind is hemoglobin. RBC contains hemoglobin, and for the synthesis of hemoglobin, iron is required. That's all. Even myoglobin, cytochrome and other enzymes, they are late to come in the mind. And brain, very late. Or sometimes we forget about the role of iron in the brain. the role of iron in the brain is very important. How it is important? For the synthesis of myelin, iron is required. For the formation and manufacture of the neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, again iron is required. There are various areas in the brain like sensory area, visual area, auditory area. So there is some area which is related to the movement, that is called as motor area. This motor area also has a very high content of iron in the brain. At the basal ganglia, the iron is so much so that as if the iron is stored into the hepatocytes. In other words, the level of stored iron in the liver is almost as good as it is in the basal ganglia. It means that in the brain, iron is very important ingredient. It is required for myelin synthesis, neurotransmitters formation, and for the motor area for the physiological activities. What are these? If it is absent, but ultimately what is the role of this iron in the brain? Two important functions. One is psychomotor development. The psychomotor development of the baby and cognitive development of the baby is very well related to the iron content of the brain. If the baby is anemic or iron deficient, the psychomotor development will be retarded, cognitive development will be retarded. Psychomotor development, here again it is related to the personality, and cognitive development. Again, what is cognitive development? It is the development, rather it is the learning process. It is the learning through experiences, learning through some senses like auditory sensation, visual sensations, touch sensations. I will just give an example of cognitive development. If the baby rather, touches some object which is sharp, next time the baby will not touch that object because the brain has already read that it is nothing but something which is dangerous or injurious to the baby. So the baby will not touch it again. Why? Because the baby's brain has learned through the touch sensations that probably this is injurious or harmful to the baby. This is the cognitive development. In the school-going children, if the child is deficient of iron, the child will have iron deficiency anemia. And such children, those who are suffering from iron deficiency anemia, they have lack of concentration, they have some irritability, they have a loss of appetite, and ultimately, as there is no concentration and obviously cognitive and psychomotor functions, they are disturbed, there is a scholastic backwardness. Scholastic backwardness, I mean the school performance is not up to the mark. So the iron is very important for these basic functions. Basically, for the synthesis all these hemoglobin, myoglobin, enzymes, cytochromes, and in the brain, it has very important role. So let us in the next lecture we will take the iron as such, the metabolism of the iron. Okay. Now our next topic will be the metabolism of the iron, which is very important for understanding the anemia, right? Iron deficiency anemia, right? Thank you.